Hello, my name is Voya and welcome to My Deep Guide. Today is a little bit of a different video and a different product because I've recently received this. This is the Benq ScreenBar e-reading lamp. And I just want to be very clear about something, full disclosure, right? So Benq contacted me out of the blue and they said, we really like your channel and what you're doing. We think that you provide important information and all that kind of stuff, and that maybe you would be interested and your viewers might be interested in checking this thing out. As the channel is growing, I'm getting more and more types of offers, so to speak. However, my response to these offers is always the same. First of all, I check out if what they are offering is something that could be beneficial to the channel. Most of the times it's not, right? So then I just flat out say, okay, this is not a good fit, and that's it. If sometimes the product that they want me to actually review is something that could be interesting and it actually fits into the niche of the My Deep Guide and the audience, and I think that it's a worthwhile product, then I reply that I am interested, but one very first and most important condition is objectivity and transparency. So for me, the number one thing that I always tell them is I get to keep full editorial rights. So if you want me to review it, I review it the way I do it, right? And I cannot guarantee a positive review or anything like that. And as you can imagine, in most cases, I don't even get a reply back, because obviously that was not what they had in mind, which is fine by me because, you know, I save time. It's like there's no misunderstandings or anything like that. I want to do this properly the way I do it. If you're okay with that, great. If you're not, move along. It's fine either way. However, Benq's reply was, sure, whatever. We would just want you to review the product on your channel. So here it is. So what is the Benq ScreenBar e-reading lamp? It's a desktop lamp that basically saves space because it mounts onto your monitor, and it provides for glare-free type of lighting. So it lights up your working surface, your desk, your keyboard, and everything else that you might have on the desk, papers, books, or unlit e-readers, for example, without actually giving you glare on the screen. And that's something that really tickled my attention, because that's exactly what I am using, and that's exactly what I have as a problem most of the cases. Is like, if I need light, then I'm gonna get some reflections on either one of the screens, because I have two screens set up. So I was genuinely interested in this, because if it does work, then it's something that I properly can use and something that I need. And also it has auto dimming function, color temperature function, and of course manual brightness if you choose to do it like that. So let's open it up and check it out. So here is the ScreenBar from Benq. The packaging is cool, and what I especially like is that on the back you have the simplified instructions, how to assemble it, how to install it onto your screen, and how to plug it in. So very kind of simple stuff, plus you have QR codes and everything on the box itself, which I think is really handy. I love when manufacturers actually do this kind of stuff, because yeah, it just makes it simple. Let's unbox it first and see what we get. All right, let's see what we get. So we get some documentation, and we get the light bar itself. And it looks actually like it's a lot better quality than I thought it would be. This is metal. This is actually all aluminium. This is really pretty. I was expecting that it's going to be plastic for whatever reason, I don't know. But it's not. It has a row of LEDs here, and then a diffused out mirror on the other side to direct and diffuse the light a little bit. Oh, this actually looks promising. Let's see, what else do we get? Then we have the weight and the holder, and boy oh boy, that's weighty, so that's kind of cool. And one thing that I was worried about was like how wide it is in the back and if it's gonna fit, because one of my screens is wall mounted, but this should fit without a problem, so this is not too much. And lastly, a very long USB cable to supply power to the lamp. So that's nice that it's actually a good length, so it can reach whatever it is that you may want it to reach. Cool. Alright, so you get everything you need. You get the ScreenBar, USB cable, and the mounting mechanism for the ScreenBar. I gotta say, I'm actually quite impressed with the heftiness and the build quality of this, because usually things like this are built like all from plastic. So it's an extremely nice and welcome change to see that it's a unibody type of thing and it holds it. So it just gives me a good impression that it's going to be durable, hopefully so. And these are not buttons, they're not clickable, they're just sensors. So you're just gonna tap them to power on off. This one here is, I think, for auto dimming. And the cool thing about the ScreenBar is that when you use the auto dimmer function, it always tries and dims it to exactly 500 lux, which is supposed to be the optimal light for working conditions. So that's kind of a cool thing to see. Then we also have the color temperature change, and then finally manual brightness or dimming. So we'll test it out and see how that works. But first I gotta mount it and yeah, see how it fits. Alright, so the first step is to actually put the ScreenBar into this holder. Now, there's a very specific and super easy peasy way to do this. You don't push it like this, no. So what you need to do is align this USB power to the back side of the here, roughly around the middle, and then you can see that it simply slides in. Once it slides in, you twist it, it locks, and that's it. You're done. I mean, it's that simple. The power section is right where it needs to be. There's no wiggle room, there's nothing. It's very, very secure and it feels really cool. So I love the fact that this is so easy to actually mount. And mounting it was also equally easy. And I was a little bit worried because I have this really giant screen, which is a little bit thicker than the specifications actually say that it should be. However, even in this case, for me, yeah, I'm on the upper limit, but it fits normally and it's secure. It's not moving anywhere, so that's good. It's not sliding back and forth. So yeah, even in that kind of situation, I think that this works so far so good. So all I need to do now is plug it in here and then test it out. Plus, it looks quite sexy. So here's my typical work situation. The setup, of course, is very problematic. As you can see, it's all over the place. But most importantly, you should be able to see the reflections here. That's my normal regular light. Because the lower screen is at an angle like this, I always have this problem. So yeah, I usually resort to turning the light completely off, and then I have full glare of the screens at me. However, first of all, as you can see, there's no glare from the top light at all on the bottom one, and it lights the underneath area very nicely. But what's far more important and impressive for me is I'm gonna turn off the overhead light, or basically the room light, and because the ScreenBar is set to auto dimming, just check out what it does. And it automatically kind of detects what the lighting conditions are very quickly and smoothly, just kind of dims it down a little bit. And now all of my reflections are gone, and I have this kind of very nicely lit area around my screens. And even though I know that's a secondary purpose of it, but for me, that's a really big one because I spend a huge amount of time in front of these screens. And yeah, this is a big saver. So not only does it actually light up the area underneath your work area where you can read, draw, and do whatever it is that you're doing, but it actually saves the eyes as well because of that nicely softly lit area around the screens. And also when you turn the light back on, it will detect it and brighten itself up. So I really love how that auto dimming feature works, and sure enough, as they say it, that value around 500 lux, it really does feel very comfortable. I can, when I turn the main light off, I can sense that this feels very nicely, and it's almost like an ambient light. It's pretty sweet. And here it is how it actually looks like on an unlit surface. So as I said, this is the QuickLogic Papier, and yeah, for readability also you can see the light on my hands. It's very natural, very soft. One of the things that I was kind of worried about was the shadows themselves. But as you can see, they are fairly diffuse. There are no sharp shadows at all. Of course, there's going to be shadows because it is an overhead light, but because of that diffusion, there are no sharp shadows. And that's something that I actually saw on the promo material. The shadows were very, very sharp. And I was like, oh no, that's not gonna work because I don't like that. But no, as you can see, look at the level of diffusion. Very, very nice. And it just kind of dissolves all over the place. And here it is on a regular paper, like on a user manual of some sort, kind of to see how the lighting itself works. Extremely pleasant light, and yeah, the shadows work normally. It's not distracting at all. So again, definitely a plus on that side as well. I have to say that I really didn't know what to expect from this one. So first of all, let's cover the conclusions and the cons and the pros. Well, the first con is probably going to be for some people that it does not have a remote control. So that once it's actually mounted, you do have to get up and touch these controls to actually work. For those, there is another version that's called, I think, ScreenBar Plus, and that one does have a little remote that you can put on the table, and it has these controls then on the table as well. However, I have to be honest that for me that's not a problem at all. Actually, I prefer this, but that's a personal preference, I guess. However, yeah, if this is something that you really don't want, or maybe you want that kind of remote thingy on your desk, there's also the option of having the ScreenBar Plus. The second con could be also the option that it's a little bit limited on how far forward it can go. Now, I wish that it could go just a little bit more, a few degrees more, to be able to tilt a little bit forward, so I can get a little bit more of a forward-facing type of lighting situation. But that's mainly because my setup here, as you've seen, is very, very atypical. I think that for 99% of use case scenarios where your screen is, if it's on the desk, if it's not wall-mounted and all that kind of stuff, and you don't have this giant room in front of you, yeah, for those situations, this is calibrated in a very, very good way, and it's going to give you excellent results. And the final thing that I don't think it's a con, it's just something that you should be aware of, is this: just be sure to read the specifications of the width of the device so that you know that your screen is actually compatible. So mine, even though if it doesn't fit, it shouldn't fit, like it's beyond the compatible width or the recommended width, it still fits. So for me, that for sure isn't a con. That's a really good thing because I can use it. However, it's something that you should definitely be aware of, so be sure to double check those things if this is something that you'd like to get or not. And now on to the pros of the Benq ScreenBar. Well, there's actually quite a few of them. So I really love the build quality. The fact that it's actually metal and how it's arranged, that you have this LED that actually bounces off of a nicely diffused reflection so that it actually diffuses the shadows, that for me is just a huge, huge plus. The second thing that I really like is this section here, because this is what actually is in contact with your screen, and it's all nice rubber and soft, so it's not going to scratch your device, a thing that I really, really like. Assembling this and disassembling it, I really love the design. It's not something that's fiddly or anything like that. You just simply take it off, or you just simply put it on. It's very, very simple, and I love a smart design like that. Another thing that I absolutely love about it is that it's a USB-C on the back, and that it's a USB power thing, so that you can hook it up to the screen's USB port or any other port that you might have, but that you don't need an additional power supply or anything like that. And why do I like it that it's USB-C? Because it's in the back, right? But then I don't have to fiddle around with the orientation. I can just plug it in and that's it. So again, really, really sweet. I love the auto dimming feature. I think I've already mentioned it, but I have to mention it again because it's not just auto dimming, it's brightness and the color temperature. At first I was skeptical about it because it's like, yeah, how do you know what I need? And actually it does. So things have improved quite a bit since the early versions of automatic systems and all that kind of stuff. So my skepticism was not warranted. And I just end up using it on the automatic mode all the time, and it just does things for me pretty much perfectly. So I loved the ease of use. You just put it on auto and you're done. So I was checking out also other user reviews of this thing to kind of see the rating, and it has a really good rating. But what I usually do when I research products for myself or when I'm gonna talk about it online is I also check the 1-star or 2-star reviews to see what are the problems that users had. And there's one thing that users kind of mentioned almost like unanimously when people had a problem was it just stops working. It works a little while and then it just stops working. And it turns out that the problem is that the users were actually plugging it into a USB port that wasn't able to supply constant and good type of a power. So that's something that definitely should be kept in mind. What I've had so far, again, I have to say limited type of use, only maybe 3-4 days so far, it's been without a problem. I didn't get any flickering that some of the users reported on Amazon, and I didn't get any unexpected turn-ons, power-offs or power-ons. Then again, I am plugging it into my normal USB hub that I'm using, and that's a good USB hub which provides me stable signal and stable power. So maybe that's why I'm not having issues, I don't know. So that's something that could happen over time. Now, I don't know. For now, it looks great. But again, this is like first impressions, so to speak. And first impressions are excellent. I think that it works great. The way I've tested it in these 4 days, I think it's 4 days now, I haven't had a single issue with it. I'm going to continue using it, and then I'm going to report back on, I don't know, after about a month or so, because the 1-star reviews were always kind of unanimously saying after 2 weeks it stopped working. So let's give it a go and see what happens. But for now, the first impressions are excellent, and I hope that it stays like that and that I don't get any issues like that, because I would love to be able to continue to use this product. It's solving a lot of issues for me. So yeah, for now, the first impressions of the Benq ScreenBar are excellent. I really love it. Longevity-wise, I don't know yet, and I will report back after a month of use to kind of give you an addendum on that, so that you know how it is in reality after an extended period of time of using this device. I hope you liked the video. If you did, please like and subscribe, and consider checking out the rest of the channel, because there's like lots of playlists and videos and a lot of really funky content there. Also ding the notification bell to be sure that you actually are notified when the new videos come out. Usually I publish about 2 videos per week, sometimes 3, but mainly it's 2 on Tuesdays, Thursdays, and sometimes on a Saturday. Thank you so much for watching. Stay safe, stay healthy, and see you in the next video. Bye!